Blitzcrank is a simple champion due to the fact that you only have to hit one hook in order to kill an enemy.
Nice.
The other spells are just point and click abilities and a passive that saves your ass when you are low on HP, which makes this champion a perfect low pick. We only know this champ is a supporter who set up kills for his teammates, but what if I tell you that Blitzcrank can now be played inside the jungle and is capable to one-shot enemies thanks to this recent patch? He has a decent jungle clear, a good gank setup and a lot of AP damage that can make enemy hyper carries disappear. These are the items and the runes, and now I will show you how to play Blitzcrank inside the jungle and get the easiest S rank ever. You can literally die 5 times, deal no damage and still get an S.
Sus.
At level 1 you skill your W spell, which might sound weird, because as Blitzcrank support it's known as an ability that gives you some movement speed in order to catch up. Why should this spell help clearing my first jungle camp? It's quite simple. It also gives you 40% attack speed, and thanks to Blitzcrank's high base stats, you can deal a lot of damage towards the jungle camps, which turns into a solid clear speed. Your first camp is going to be the blue buff, since without this thing Blitzcrank will quickly run out of mana and his clear speed will decrease drastically since he needs his spells in order to kill his camps. After you are done with the stone golem, you skill your E spell, since this uppercut is not only useful for knocking up enemies but also deals some additional 100% physical damage, increasing to 250% when the person who gets punched into his face is not an enemy champion. But the most important thing to consider is that his ability is an auto attack reset, so use it immediately after you have auto attacked in order to reset your auto attack cooldown. Now we only need a target to practice this shit. Stay right here, you dirty little piece of shit. Alright, the next camp are going to be the wolves, where you basically repeat the same thing I told you before. Use your W spell for more attack speed, and when the effect runs out Blitzcrank uses his auto attack, the auto attack reset. This camp makes you unlock the third spell that turns him into a hook champion, so you can grab the camps from further away and deal some additional damage, clear the red buff and move instantly towards the scuttle crab, because there is one disadvantage Blitzcrank jungle has. He doesn't has a OE damage, which makes it really hard to clear the raptors or the crux. And since the next jungle clear power spike comes when Blitzcrank reaches level 6, you need to spend the next few minutes ganking other lanes. With his hook, knockup and movement speed buff, Blitzcrank has a really good gank setup. But the most important spell is probably the hook, since once you miss that thing, your gank is basically over. That's why you shouldn't use it right at the beginning of the gank, but rather keep it up and play mind games with your opponent, since they will start dodging around, panic flash or use certain abilities when you keep your hook long enough, just to miss it right afterwards. Most of the time I like to use my W spell in order to get closer to the enemy, which scares them even more and force them to use certain abilities. At this state it gets easier to hit your hook. The best case scenario is when you manage to get right next to your opponent with your movement speed buff in order to knock the enemy up, which grants you safe hook on a stationary target.
Oh kurva! And his name is John C.
The problem is that Blitzcrank doesn't has enough burst damage at this state of the game. Once you used all your spells, you have to wait 10 seconds until they are up again. And when your top laner is this dog that need to bonk 100 minions until it gets useful, you might spend some time running enemies down. At the same time you are increasing the risk that the enemy jungler will counter gank the lane. But luckily Blitzcrank has enough tools to save his allies and can easily escape afterwards.
Bye, have a great time.
Sometimes when you gank a lane that has a strong duelist, most likely on the top lane, you might struggle killing them quick enough since they have a decent amount of tankinis and damage output, so they might think after they got hooked, well, at least I can try to make it an even trade, and they will probably start focusing. Well, little do they know that Blitzcrank has a passive that grants him a shield when he loses 2/3 of his maximum health.
NANI?
That's basically also the reason why most junglers will pick up a fight when they randomly encounter you, since most of them underestimate Blitzcrank's early game strength, thanks to his high base stats and his passive shield. It gives Blitzcrank even the opportunity to kill an opponent while taking damage from the tower. The strength of this shield depends on the amount of maximum mana Blitzcrank has, and that's why you should buy tiers at your first back port, even when you are planning not to transform it into anything, but the amount of mana you get by just spending 400 gold is insane. This makes you less dependent from your blue buff and allows you to clear the jungle more frequently, since without mana, Blitzcrank can't use his spells that often and won't be able to clear the jungle properly. Another important tool to increase Blitzcrank jungle clear speed is his ultimate. When you use it, this ability deals solid 250 AP damage in the area around him. Now you might think that this is a great spell to deal AoE damage in order to clear certain camps faster, since it only has a cooldown of 60 seconds, but that's not the case. The tool that helps Blitzcrank's clearing the jungle is the passive, which is granted by the ultimate when it's not on cooldown. Every auto attack made by Blitzcrank summons a thunder that deals 50 AP damage with a 1-second delay. This passive allows Blitzcrank to clear camps with multiple targets. Instead of focusing a single monster, you should attack them one after another to make sure that they all get damaged by this passive. By doing it this way, you get more damage off in total. But not only inside the jungle, even in teamfights the passive of your ultimate is an important tool to deal damage with. Instead of using the active instantly in a fight, you should hold it and use the passive to get even more damage off and use the active part of the ultimate like an execute spell. Especially when you know that this fight is going to take ages. In some situations when Blitzcrank hooks AD carries, you can be sure that you are going to one-shot them, so you use your ultimate instantly. They will die so soon that they can barely even react. The basic combo would be hook into, knock up with the ultimate as an execute, and most champions will just vanish. Great thing is that this ultimate can silence enemies for a short duration or even remove shields from them. So whatever this set was planning to do, it won't work. Since Blitzcrank ultimate has quite a low cooldown, don't be too thrifty with it. Just use it when you have that thing up for some damage. But in this case I can just use my hook to secure the kill. Yeah, nice try surviving my gank, idiot. I think I'm going to recall right here. Oh wait, what is this Syndra doing over there? I'm on my way to take revenge for you, Yasuo. It will just take a few minutes until I reach the mid lane.
Hello there.
One important note you all should take: never stand near a tower where a Blitzcrank is present. One misstep and you disappear. And when you are on a D carry it doesn't matter. As soon as you get hooked you are going to die. As I have already mentioned previously, Blitzcrank early game strength cannot be underestimated. When you see a Ronald McDonald trying to gank your bot lane, just jump over the wall and punch him a few times. Well, he might have escaped, but we can still. Never mind, he is back again, but you are going to regret this re-engage. And this slime blob thinks he managed to escape, but I can smell your hard stuck aura. Even the mid laner is coming to kill me. I told you buddy this won't work. Oh crap, he still had flash up. Well, I guess I have to give up. There is no way I get out alive. Just finish this as quick as possible. We are going to die together. Psych, bitch, you die on your own. Thanks to these easy kills we will now have to talk about the spell skill order. First of all, you can start putting the first skill points into the Q spell. The reason for this is quite simple, since the hook is Blitzcrank's most important tool to make this champion actually work. By leveling your hook up, you are not only reducing the cooldown of this spell but also increasing the AP damage significantly. The damage is nearly doubled by just putting 2 points into it. The W spell is the next ability we are going to max out. It will only increase Blitzcrank movement speed by 20%, but we can see a significant change at the attack speed stats. It goes all the way up to 92%, which helps you clearing the jungle even faster and is an additional upgrade in close range punching fights. The E spell isn't really interesting to skill, since it only reduces the cooldown by 1 second. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else happens. He can burst enemy champions on his own thanks to these items. The first item you are going to build will be Nashor's Tooth, which is going to be your first power spike. This item will turn Blitzcrank into a better fighter, since you are not only receiving some additional AP damage but also getting 50% more attack speed. Additionally to that, your basic attacks will also deal 15 bonus magic damage.
Falcon Punch!
Night Harvester is a great item to gain some additional HP, 300 to be precise, and yes, some ability power, but the most important part about this item is the 25 ability haste you get. As already told, Blitzcrank cooldowns are quite high and you get pretty useless once your spells are used. But the most important spell, the ultimate, which is significant for Blitzcrank when it comes to clearing the jungle. When the ultimate is faster up, you can make even more use of its passive and clear the jungle more frequently than before. And when you are wondering how this Nocturne mid managed to get all 3 lanes ahead after killing his own laning opponent multiple times, by just pressing a single button. Click on this video right here.